So moving over to video number 2 now. So I'm just going to carry on talking where I left off about empathy. One other thing I wanted to mention, because this came up on Twitter recently, the parent of a profoundly autistic son, so obviously completely different type of autism to what I have. She mentioned recently on Twitter that her son, I'm not entirely sure how old her son is, I think he might be in his 20s or something. He reverses his pronouns. So he refers to himself as you, or he calls himself by his name, and he never uses the word I to describe himself. And someone else commented, another parent who has an autistic child, I'm not sure how old they are, who also does pronoun reversal, but also finds it hard to use appropriate gestures. So instead of saying, when they say bye-bye to someone, instead of saying bye-bye like that, palm facing outwards, they will go bye-bye with their hands, with their hand facing their face, sort of thing. So they'll go bye-bye like that. Showing how their theory of mind difficulties also affects their the use of gestures for some autistic people. It's kind of like not separating yourself out from other people kind of thing. Like not perspective taking, it can affect the use of gestures as well. It's kind of like a form of parroting or a form of mimicking other people without really without understanding the purpose, I guess, of these gestures or whatever. Okay, so obviously I have a different type of autism to these people, but still similar struggle, just manifest differently. When I was a child, at least up until the age of 5, possibly even older than that, my mum said it baffled her at the time, because obviously didn't really know much about autism at the time. So I did a pronoun reversal thing. So I did use the word I as well. It's kind of, it wasn't all the time, but frequently, very frequently, I would refer to myself by my name. So, for example, I would say, Anna's a good jumper, isn't she? And things like that. I would often call myself by my first name. A lot. Like I said, my mum was baffled by this, didn't really know about autism at the time. Now, pronoun reversal is actually a hallmark symptom of autism, but of course it doesn't just occur in autism. And indeed, typical toddlers, when they're first learning how to talk, will often get their pronouns confused. Typical toddlers will often get their pronouns confused. It's a normal part, can be a normal part of development, because pronouns are quite confusing. So you'll often find 1 and 2 year old little children will get their pronouns confused. The difference here is that the intensity of it and the frequency, and the duration is what sets apart autistic pronoun reversal from typical pronoun reversal. So in autistics, the pronoun reversal will often go on for much longer than you would expect, because in typical development, the pronoun reversal is a brief phase, usually around the age of around 2 years old, that the child will very quickly come out of. And this is because at that age, the child is still developing their theory of mind. Remember when I said last time that theory of mind doesn't come on board properly until about the age of 3 or 4 in typically developing children. Perspective taking is a bit later to develop than effective empathy, which is there from the start in typical children. That's why toddlers will do what's called parallel play. So they will play alongside each other, not with each other, until a bit later. Like I said, autistics don't really come out with parallel play. That's the thing. Like, in actual fact, a lot of symptoms in autism are actually there in typical children. The difference is that typical children who are not autistic will develop their theory of mind. So then these, so again, features such as pronoun reversal and things like that will be a brief phase in typical development that the child will come out of. In autism, this coming out of is very, very delayed, and in some cases, particularly those who are very profoundly autistic, it might never happen. So some very profoundly autistic people will still be using their pronoun reversals in adulthood and will carry on doing so until they die. They won't call themselves I, they will carry on calling themselves by their name. Like I say, in my case, obviously I now use the word I and I use normal pronouns, but when I was a child, for quite some time, I did get my pronouns confused, far longer than in typical development. And that is another sign of problems with theory of mind, which obviously, like I say, reflects the problems with perspective taking. Obviously, problems with perspective taking are not just limited to pronoun reversal, but pronoun reversal does indicate the problem, which also affects other areas as well, obviously. It's like parroting, basically. You're not using language in the appropriate way. You're mimicking other people. I used to do this a lot as well, parroting. Repetitive questioning is the other thing that a lot of autistics do, and I did as well. People would sometimes say, I remember a kid actually at school saying this, why do you keep on asking the same thing? That's what I mean. Repetitive questioning is another autistic thing. Of course, at the time I didn't really know. People say, why are you asking the same thing? Or they would say, why are you repeating that? And things like that. Or like you would basically repeating exactly what someone else has said. I used to do that. They're all, again, theory of mind problems. Let me know if you're watching this, any autistics watching this, if you ever did a pronoun reversal when younger. It'll be interesting also, I don't know how much research they've done into it, to find out whether autistics with greater theory of mind difficulty do the pronoun reversal thing, because clearly not all autistics do it. Like I said, in my case, although I have developed theory of mind, and I do have theory, it's not like I completely lack it, and I have developed it, but I only have it in a very sort of intellectual kind of theoretical way. And I do have very significant social interaction, connective problems with other people. Emotional connection with other people, social connection, interactivity, bonding with other people. Very, 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 very disabled in that area. It's a very kind of annoying thing, because I have the theory, I understand the theory. Even when, like for example, small talk. Like today, I attended a workshop for autistic people on Microsoft Teams, looking at small talk, and the person was telling us all about small talk and what we're supposed to say in social situations, and talking about weather and blah blah blah. I know all the theory. I've read all the books. I know what you're supposed to do in small talk. I can even make a good first impression. I can do the act. I can talk about the weather. I could do the initial act. My problem is the deeper stuff. I could do the act, which is then you get this crap where people say, oh, you don't look autistic, because you could do the small talk bit, okay, you said hello, I don't know. Yeah, because I could do the act, because I've spent a lot of time studying it. But my problem is the deeper stuff. It's the whole connectivity. It's not there. I can't read other people. I can do the act, but I don't have the theory of mind to really be able to apply what you're supposed to do to actually make a proper friendship or relationship. Like, I'm always thinking in my head, my head is always thinking, I don't know what's going to happen next. Like, I don't know, do I follow them? Do I stay seated? If you're like moving around with other people, what's happening next? When do I go home? How do I break this interaction? Where do I look? It's all very, very tense. Do I look here? Do I look there? How do I smile? When do I smile? So you often find me like going, and kind of, people often say this, they say I'm nodding my head a lot. Yeah, I do nod the head a lot. It's a sign of tension. I often nod my head in such like almost like exaggerated nodding. But people say this to me before. And it's because I'm fighting for my life, trying to stay socially appropriate. It's so hard work. I know what you're supposed to do, the theory. So I can appear to, I don't know, the uninitiated as though I'm doing the act okay. Oh look, she's interacting. What they don't see is the fact I can't connect. So this interaction isn't going to be developed properly. I've never had proper friendships because I've got no idea how they work. I can't do the whole reciprocity thing. And the problem is that no matter how many small talk groups you go to, I mean, it would have been helpful actually to have learned the small talk stuff at a younger age, when I really didn't have any idea about small talk, back when I was about sort of 11 or 12. This sort of whole scripting stuff would have really helped me. It's a bit too late for that now. Now, I know all the small talk stuff. I've learnt it at great cost, intellectually, but I don't have the applied understanding to make it really work, to really develop it into something meaningful. So let me know what you think, and thank you for watching.